Oh my god, this is so fun. I'm so excited. Okay. Hi. Hello. Welcome to Ken's fucking interlude, I think. This is the first episode of my unclouded solo. As you guys know or don't know, if this is your first time finding out, this is the first episode of our unclouded solo episodes. We have Ken's interlude, Jay's serenity, and Jay's ellipsism, our three parts. Because I don't know, we feel like y'all already know us as a group. And we'll continue to get to know us as a group, but we've also just felt like it'd be dope for y'all to get to know us separately. So, my mom just walked into the kitchen, and I swear to God, if she comes interrupting my filming, I'm gonna scream. But anyway, the topic of today's episode is black people and how we are the blueprint, yet somehow the most hated in this country. So without further ado, let's just get right into the shits. Black History Month is dead ass like the shortest month of the year. A whopping 28 days in comparison to the 11 months with 30 to 31 days in them. We literally get February, the month that has 28 to 29 days, which is literally less than every other month of the year. And in school during Black History Month, we are taught about the same like three people. You all know about Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, because those are the three people I guess that they just chose as most important. Or I guess the people that they chose that you couldn't really escape. Because if you really want to get into it, I doubt them niggas even wanted to talk about Malcolm X because he was shaking shit up. But you couldn't ignore him because he was such a huge part of history that they just probably just had to talk about him, or else somebody would be like, what about him? So they kind of just had to do it anyway. But that's not the point. I digress. Black history is so whitewashed and watered down for schools. They like to pick apart which aspects of Black history are deemed as kid friendly or safe for work, safe for school, when in reality, Black history is gory, it's gruesome, it's bloody, it's hard to listen to, it's hard to watch. Nothing about Black history is supposed to make you feel comfortable because we did not feel comfortable. Our ancestors did not feel comfortable. We were not comfortable on plantations, not comfortable being sprayed down by water hoses from fire trucks for wanting to march for our rights. We're not comfortable being beat on a bridge for wanting to march for our rights. No part of that was comfortable or kid friendly. Because y'all was beating on kids too, feeding literal slave babies to alligators. So, no part of Black history is supposed to be kid friendly. It's supposed to be safe for work because that is just the general meat and bones of Black history. Is the fact that it is gory, it's gross. We were put through literal hell and still are getting put through hell. Yet for some reason they want to pick and choose the parts that are deemed safe for work to talk about. But yeah, no. Black people are literally essential to this society. Yet constantly being excluded from receiving accolades. I mean, if you really want to get into it, like, let's fucking get into it. Other people are always praised for Black work, whether that be music, dance, style, fashion, anything of the sorts. Like, so many things that Black people have literally created don't even get credited to us. Like, and it's terrible. Like, it's literally terrible. Black features and Black characters are what sell nowadays. Acting like a Black person, dressing like a stereotypical Black person, talking like a stereotypical Black person is what gets you clout. I mean, literally, take a scroll down your For You page, or think about back to the Vine days in like 2016. What was so prominent during those time periods? What was prominent was videos of people like King Batch or Young Poppy or other Viners that would put on like a towel or something to make it look like they had hair and talk with their hand, give you the whole I'm acting like a Black woman for clout thing, like the whole oosh, I'm a ghetto Black girl thing. And that's still an ongoing joke to this day. We have people like that one dude Kells or whatever, and then there's the people on TikTok that literally there's an entire area of like hot Cheeto girl era where a bunch of white people were acting like quote unquote stereotypical ghetto girls from high school. And there's a debate on whether or not hot Cheeto girls were talking about Black girls or Hispanic girls, but either way, you and me both know that they were sitting there making fun of black mannerisms, like the way black people talk, black caricatures, because we're funny to them. We literally are funny to them. The way we act, our culture, the way we talk is legitimately comedic to these people. So it would only make sense for us to be the butt of the joke each time. And it's not even, honestly, I can't even say we, because I'm not a black woman. Black women are the butt of every single joke. I don't know if y'all remember this, but there was a time period on Twitter when there was literally a video circulating of these like group of like 4 black boys, and they literally pushed a girl into a dumpster. They pushed a black girl into a dumpster and were laughing at her and decided that it'd be okay for them to post it on the internet. Because black women are the butt of every joke. But the question is, what's funny? What's funny about being constantly oppressed? What's funny about living in a country that was built by you, but you're not even allowed to really live in, because if you do anything, you get lit the fuck up? What is funny about that? Like, why is it funny to y'all that we face oppression? What's funny about that? Like, where is the jokes? And it's like, if you really want to get into it, why do y'all think that black characters are so funny? If you really want to talk about it, like, we can say like, oh, you know, like, people make jokes about stereotypical white people, this, that, and the third. And, you know, you can have what you want to say about that for like, oh, you know, because some people like bringing up white chicks. The idea of like, well, if we don't like making fun of races, well, why do we have white chicks? You know, that's racist to white people. Alright, I'm gonna say something, and it might hurt a lot of y'all feelings, but it must be said. White people do not experience racism. I'm sorry. You just don't. Like, you literally do not experience racism. Now, you can discuss how in the 6th grade, you know, Billy Bob, the black boy in your class, called you a cracker and how it really deeply hurt your feelings. Well, I'm gonna let you know now. That slur is not doing anything to you. Yeah, you know, it might be mean, I guess, to say to you because you don't want to be called that, but on some shit, you will never know what it's like to face real racial oppression. And then, you know, I know this is another thing that people are going to bring up because this is a very common rebuttal for when people talk about black issues. Well, we get into, oh, well, Irish people were slaves. Once again, do your research. When Irish people were enslaved, they were not enslaved because of their race. They were enslaved because they were war criminals. And they were eventually let free, you know, once they finished their time. Because they were essentially prisoners. They were prisoners. And they were forced to do work until they were free because they were war prisoners. It was not something that was happening to their entire lineage. I forgot what the correct term is, but the moral of the story is slavery was not passed down from generations. For black people, slavery was literally generational, because if your mom was black and your daddy was black, that means that you were a slave because you are a slave baby. And if you have kids, that baby's also going to be a slave baby, and y'all whole family is going to be living on a plantation. That's how it worked. That's not how it worked for Irish people. Now, you can argue with your moms, but we're going to go to the next topic. Like I was saying, on social media, if you put on a bonnet and start talking excessively with your hands to get a punchline across, you will get 1 million views and people will think it's funny. Like, LMAO, ha ha ha, this is peak comedy, because they think it's funny at the fact that you're making fun of a black person. And even if you want to get into it, this is kind of off topic from what I was saying, but I actually kind of want to address this because I actually have notes that I'm like reading from, and this isn't in my notes, but I want to talk about this. Once the like Black History movement started to Black Lives Matter. Once the Black Lives Matter movement started to like really like, I guess, roll in, you know, get some more traction, we started to see an influx of like memes and jokes and shit, and like a lot of people like, oh my god, I hated this when people were talking about ooh, Hello Kitty says ACAB, and like Toph Beifong says ACAB. Like, first of all, Toph is a cop. Second of all, why are y'all trying to make it seem like these fictional characters are activists? That's weird. The Black Lives Matter movement is real. Black people are actually dying. So your jokes, whether you feel like that is activism or not, or that you're actually trying to, let people know that you actively support Black Lives Matter, just do that by saying that you as a real person support Black Lives Matter, and go out in the world and actually support Black people. Because I promise you, we don't care if you think that your literal 2D drawn like RGB character supports Black lives, because I promise you that is way more disrespectful than you actually think it is, because it's to the point where y'all literally are using non-human people to speak up for Black people. Cut it out. Wrap it up. Like, dead ass, cut that shit out. Like, it's not giving what I thought it was giving. It's really not. Like, it's giving absolutely fucking nothing. Like, just don't do it. Like, just don't do it. This country was built on the backs of slaves. Yet to this day, we are not equal. Now, whether I hate when people say shit like this, but like, I know some dumb incel is gonna think like, okay, well, if Black people aren't equal, what about Michael Jordan? What about LeBron James? What about Dwayne Wade? Let's actually get into that, because notice how a lot of the people that white people mention as Black celebrities tend to be Black athletes, because there are a lot of famous and rich Black athletes that are Black celebrities. Because if you actually want to get into it, Black people have to do the absolute most to blow up. Like, in order for Black people to like become prominent figures in media, we have to literally be astronomically talented. Like, you cannot be a mediocre Black person and get a substantial amount of clout. But that is not the case for white people. White mediocrity, you know the word, mediocre plus itty after it, that one. White mediocrity is like mind-blowing. You can, like, I hate to mention Shawty, she didn't do nothing wrong, but Charli D'Amelio, that girl does nothing. And you know what? I'm not gonna say she doesn't deserve her clout, because she does. She works for what she does. But if you want to get into it, she's the most followed person on TikTok for what? When if you want to really get into it, the dance that she blew up for wasn't even her dance. You want to know who made that dance? A Black girl. And for months, white people were getting credit for her dance. Like, y'all know the Renegade. Y'all know the, like, Renegade. Y'all know what the Renegade dance is, and y'all know the controversy surrounding that, and how, like, I forgot how to pronounce her name, but the girl, Jelaya Harmon, the one that made the dance, like, she was not credited for making the dance for months when it was hers. And people were crediting Addison Rae, they were crediting Charli D'Amelio, they're crediting just a bunch of other white people, instead of giving her accolades for what she did, for making one of the biggest TikTok dances on TikTok, the one that kind of paved the way for every other TikTok dance. Like, and of course, TikTok pushed Charli to the For You page and made her the pinnacle of TikTok, when Jelaya Harmon was right there and could have had the same amount of clout that Charli did. But you and me both know why. Like, imagine literally living in a country created by your people, your ancestors, but is not even for you. Like, imagine literally sitting here and getting whipped in your back, forced to work in 90-degree weather, pick cotton, get injured, make money for these people that don't give a fuck about you, just for your distant lineage to still be experiencing oppression. It's disappointing. It's literally disappointing. We as a country, have made such little progress. Like, okay, congratulations, we're no longer in chains. But if you want to get into it, prison is modern fucking slavery. We're not in chains, but they dead will put you behind some bars real fucking quick, because there's no way that there is people on death row for trapping dimes. Niggas getting put in prison for a gram, for life, when it is now being profited off of by the government. There's now a dispensary almost everywhere. There are now countries that are there are now states that are becoming full legalized states and selling weed, the same weed that minorities were being put in prison for selling, and is now being profited by the government. And on top of that, these niggas is trapping off government weed, right? But have not even freed the people that are in prison for selling it. So once again, imagine living in a country that you literally sat here and blueprinted just for it to not even fit you into its regular life. It's disappointing. It's so disappointing. It's the point where there are literal ancient organizations that are still being enforced right now. Oh my god. Ooh, I'm finna shake the room with this one. Let me tell you about something called the Slave Patrol. Yeah, let's get into that. Let me tell you something about the Slave Patrol. The Slave Patrol was a group during slavery times, and they wore a badge, and they patrolled plantations to keep the slaves in check and to make sure that the slaves weren't running away. And if the slaves were having any problems, massa would ring, hit up Slave Patrol, and Slave Patrol would come, fuck some shit up. And they wore a very distinct star badge that they wore on their chest, to signify that they were Slave Patrol. Now, would you be shocked? Would you be shocked if I told you that there is a modern Slave Patrol in this here 2021? Now let me tell you about them. They're called the fucking police. Yeah, they wear the same badge that them niggas wore back in the plantation times, back when massa was still being called massa. And to this day, they wear those badges. Except this time, they carry a pistol on their hip. And they wear body cams they like to take off at will. And it's funny because, they were literally created to keep us black people in check. And what do you see every week on the news? Innocent black man shot. Innocent black boy shot. Innocent black woman assaulted and shot by the police. Police enter black woman's house without warrant and murder her in her sleep. Black man gets put into custody by cops and dies. I don't know about you, but it's getting a little weird. It's getting weird. Why can't we not exist in this country that we built? Why is it that there is a target on my head for some skin that I couldn't even control? And it'd be worse if I was darker. We have to do better. Do better. Please do better. It's not hard. So today, I want you to treat a black person nicely. Please remember that educating yourself is not our job. It is not our job as black people to let you know when you are being disrespectful. Please seek out your own resources and information. Google is free. YouTube is also free. You might have to watch a little ad, but you can skip it. And if you're tired of the ads, you can get YouTube Red. Black trauma is real. So please do not share videos of black people being hurt, hate crimed, assaulted. Oh, I almost fell. Anything of the sorts. Please do not share that. Seriously. And if you are going to share it, please put a trigger warning on it. But even then, oh my god, I don't think y'all know how disrespectful it is to be sharing videos of black people being murdered. You can spread awareness by sharing a infographic simply some words or use a nice picture of this black person. I promise you, they felt enough pain when they were murdered. You don't need to share their dead body across Twitter. And lastly, before I wrap this up, I'm gonna just say this: all lives cannot and will not matter until Black lives matter. And that's Black male lives, Black female lives, Black non-binary lives, Black intersex lives, Black trans lives, Black neurodivergent lives, all Black fucking lives. And if you disagree with any of that, Black lives don't actually matter to you. And that's it. So thank you for watching, listening, or whatever you did. I hope you learned something. And yeah, stay tuned next week for the next Unclouded solo ep. Thank you for coming to Ken's Interlude. I will see y'all when I see y'all. Yeah. Bye.